You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This podcast is sponsored by D-Link Technology. Make your home smarter, safer, and truly seamless. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Keri Roberts, and we are welcoming today Meagan Hosking, the Business Development Manager in Finance at Ingram Micro, and Ian Pugh, the Director of Strategic Partnerships at GreatAmerica Financial Services, but also known as the Financial Solutions Ninja. So welcome, Meagan and Ian. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
So in this episode, we are talking about why people love monthly payments, and specifically with Ingram's clients. Now, Meagan, what kinds of options are available for partners when it comes to Ingram Micro's financial solutions, as well as what does Ingram look for in partners who want to apply for financing?
So Ingram offers a variety of different services depending upon what the customer is looking for. So we have our monthly payments basically under that technology as a service umbrella, where we have our lease and our finance and even our rental options. We also offer our supplemental credit lockbox solutions, so Direct Express Complete. We have Ingram Micro credit lines that we can look at with the credit analysts, our FinMarket commercial financing, and even preferred source or federal escrow options. To go over what we're really looking for out of a partner is someone with, a strong enough credit history that we can work with them for the financing or the rental. For the other options, like extending their credit line, Direct Express, they're going to really partner with that analyst and see where they need to be, where they need to get to, et cetera. But we're looking for partners who are excited about financing, offering a different payment option outside of the normal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love monthly payments from a consumer side, from a business side. And in the Ingram Micro Financial Solutions playbook, you actually have some interesting statistics laid out, including that 61% of clients expect their solution provider to offer a monthly payment plan or some sort of various finance option. And also you have that 76 of solution providers said that the DSO decreased by 5 days or more by using a finance plan with their clients, which these are great numbers to hear. Now, Ian, you came from the partner reseller side originally on the business before getting into the finance side. Why do you think it's important for businesses to build monthly payments into their business model?
Yeah, I'd like to share a story, but I think to answer the question specifically, it's because it's easier. And often when we think about changing our behavior, especially when we've been really successful doing things a certain way, sometimes the story or the benefits that you would realize would have to be really compelling. But I feel really grateful and blessed to have kind of grown up in the technology channel. And like most of us, we started off our career, whether it's on the technical side or on the sales side, delivering and selling hardware and software. And as managed services and cloud services and subscription has kind of permeated everything that we do, it was really interesting when we would go out and meet with the customer and sit down with them and talk about the solutions that we could deliver, that our customers were more likely and it was easier for them to make decisions on things that I was offering monthly. So if my managed services was monthly, my cloud subscription for X was monthly. But when it came down to a big capital purchase for hardware and software, it was interesting. The guards would go up. So as I was like I said, running a channel company, a technology partner, we take a step back and kind of thought about that and said, okay, listen, the hardware and the software is a central part of any end user's technology stack. It's our job to consult them on the best way, not just to deploy the technology, but how to consume it. And they were struggling to consume it when I was, handing over a $10,000 or $50,000 PO in front of them to upgrade equipment that they just at the end of the day wanted to work. So what we did was we said, okay, if we could bundle everything, the managed services experience, the cloud, all hardware, software, implementation services in a kind of a tidy package, what would happen? And in 2012, we kind of took that initiative with some of our sales team. We said, okay, when we approach a customer, let them know that all they have to do is find budget on a monthly basis. They don't have to save for months and years to be able to do the upgrade that we all knew was the right thing to do. So at the end of the day, it's easier. I'd be happy to share some specific examples, but that's kind of how we got to where we ended up. Was there was such apprehension to invest capital into technologies that end users had to do. They were at risk of failing, but they were really struggling on, spending such a significant amount of money to do that.
Yeah, and it makes more sense to just break things down monthly. I mean, it's easier to digest for the person that's purchasing from you.
No question about it. And I mean, there's four things that kind of come to mind for me of why it's easier. The first was, and most of your listeners, I'm sure, either are or have a desire to grow their sales staff. And becoming a new salesperson in the technology channel is hard, right? There's so much to learn. And what we found is that we could get somebody from hiring to training to actually generating volume for us much faster if we train them on how to sell at a monthly payment, right? It wasn't line item pricing and cost per line item and what have you. It was, hey, you told me that you had this challenge. We can solve it in this way, and it costs X per month. So not only does it simplify the purchase for the actual end user or your customer, but for your sales team, it's so much easier to be able to talk about the experience, especially when you're consuming that experience on a monthly basis. I've got a couple others if you'd like me to share.
Yeah, great. Go for it.
The other thing that I think is interesting as a business owner, we probably have a lot of business owners or principals that will listen into this, is that you get paid faster. We're all struggling to stay above water with all the things and the demands of the business, right? And financing and selling as a monthly payment, it makes the way you get paid more predictable. I can't tell you how many times I stayed up at night wondering if that progress payment or advance payment was going to show up in the mailbox so I could start a project or pay my people. And so I asked the audience, what would life look like if you got paid immediately? As soon as that contract was signed, you got some type of progress payment from Ingram. And as soon as that project was done, you had the rest of the payment ACH directly to you within hours. How would that impact your life when you're not sitting there waiting for that check to come? And often, and maybe even embarrassingly, I was worried about making payroll or paying for my employees' benefits or the things that, just keep you up at night. The last thing, and potentially the most exciting for me, and when I kind of think about the transformation from selling on capital terms to using monthly payments, was what we found was once the customer signs up and starts consuming with monthly payments, they do so forever. When you think about it, and it's interesting, we're in January, right? So most of the folks listening have already done their business planning. But when you're doing your business planning and you can forecast what your project sales will be the following year, that's just a huge benefit and a huge opportunity for the business. Because if I have certainty around what type of inflow of sales are going to come in, then I'm much more confident making investments into my people and into the business, right? And what we found was every single year we'd have a pool of partners who would come off of contract, right? So that their monthly payment solution or term was reaching an end. 80% of those customers would buy something new from us. So for instance, if I'm going into 2020 and I see that I've got $1 million of monthly payments that I sold 3 years ago that are coming up to expiration, I could confidently forecast that $800,000 of new projects would come from just that pool of customers. So again, business planning became easier, and upgrading customers and the effort that it took for our sales team to get that second, third, and fourth sale became a breeze.
Hey everyone, we hope you're enjoying this episode of B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. Let's pause for a moment to recognize our sponsor, D-Link Systems. Are network speeds slowing you down or security risks top of mind? Talk with D-Link Systems. Leverage award-winning products and deploy networks that are second to none with D-Link wireless, surveillance, and switching solutions. Contact Ashley Ruggiero at Ingram Micro today. That's Ashley, ASHLEY .Ruggiero, RUGGERIO at ingrammicro.com.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And I love that you're bringing this to fruition. So that brings us to the question that, is on the other side. People are fearful of this. So what would you each say are some of maybe the common myths or even questions that people have about financing? And Meagan, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so a lot of the feedback that I encounter, it's actually just that finance is scary. Many of our partners think, they need to have a degree in accounting just to understand the numbers. But it honestly just comes down to understanding what the value is of offering different options to their customers. Another common concern, honestly, is the process. Partners who are newer to financing, maybe they've had less than positive experiences in the past, they're going to approach with a lot of hesitation. Our team is here to alleviate those concerns while providing a clear and streamlined experience. We'll do the heavy lifting. We'll talk you through the entire process and make it as easy as possible.
Ian, do you have any thoughts to share?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things come to mind, and I think the big one that I hear and was even asking myself is, hey, my customers are not asking me for a monthly payment, so why does this really matter? And I think that's a fair journey for anybody considering this type of really consumption model to navigate a bit. And the way I think about it is, as a technology channel, we've done a great job conditioning our customers to do certain things, right? Conditioning them to manage SLAs or conditioning them to have a stack of technology that's supportable, and the list can kind of go on, compliance maybe. But for so long, the channel has conditioned our end users to pay cash that I don't think that our customers are going to wake up one day and say, I need to buy on a monthly payment. That's really our burden. That's our responsibility, right? We promote ourselves as trusted advisors or consultants or having a seat at the table. And it's interesting, right? When it comes to the products and services we recommend, we have so much passion around that. And I guess I just encourage the audience to think about what benefits would you realize if you provided the same guidance around different consumption models. I think that's being imposed on us with cloud and subscriptions, both in our personal and professional lives. So maybe there's some momentum there. But even so, your customers don't often know what's good for them, and they count on us in the technology channel to be their evangelist, to be their guide, and feel like there's an opportunity as a total channel for us to care not just about what we sell to them, the technology and the services associated, but actually how the customer buys from you. And again, hopefully we're making some compelling arguments that monthly payment is something to consider.
And Meagan, can you share with us maybe what kinds of options are available for partners when it comes to Ingram Micro's financial solutions? And also, what does Ingram do and look for in partners who want to apply for financing?
Absolutely. So we have a few different models that we like to use. Obviously, we lead with our monthly payment options. So whether that's our rental programs or our leasing solutions, we also have a few different models called Direct Express Complete, which is more of a lockbox-based program. Then we'll also work with our credit representatives and see about, extending term lines and other options that path. But really what we look for is customers that, one, have a strong credit history, that have a long history with Ingram, or at least 3 or more years with us. We want to be able to educate them and partner with them. We want someone that's going to engage and really go through the credit journey with us. And then we also just want people who are excited. It doesn't really have to fit a certain customer segment. We're not looking at just core, just hardware, just software. We're really looking for those resellers who are looking to add as much value as possible to their offering. And we can include all of the hardware, services, even the software together under one lease. So that's what we're looking for.
That's great. And if people want to learn more about what we talked about today, where can they do that online and connect with each of you to ask questions they may have?
So we have our Ingram Micro website, which actually does have our team alias listed, but it's very simple. It's financialsolutions@ingrammicro.com. Our team shares that mailbox and a representative will get right back to you.
And the last question we like to ask on this show is, where do each of you see technology going within the next year, whether the way it applies to monthly payments or anything else? And Meagan, I'll start with you.
So I see it continuously evolving, right? Especially with today's burning topics. The IoT space, as companies are trying to eliminate carbon footprints, remaining secure from cyber threats, keeping up with the latest and greatest services. I think that's going to be the shift in focus, really, especially as, I hate to say it, but the millennials take over as we care more about preserving the environment and what our businesses and technologies can do to support that.
And Ian, any thoughts?
Yeah, maybe less about technology, right? I think that we read a ton around, what's trending, 2020 reports from, CIOs and such, and maybe more just that the channel feels like it's going to continue to evolve in 2020. As we look forward, I think everybody in the channel just needs to be ready to rethink legacy businesses. And when I say legacy businesses, it's the business model, it's the strategies, it's the partners that we're working with. I mean, you think about Ingram and all of the different value adds that they have. As a channel, we really have to be thinking about how not only the technology, but how we package and bundle that to deliver an experience for our end user is changing. And I think that the partners that are going to win are the ones that are going to say, yes, I've been grossly successful doing things a certain way, but not only the demand from my end user, but the technology set that is now available to me is going to force me to rethink business models. How do I compensate my sales team? What skill sets do I need to hire and ultimately have on staff to be able to deliver for end users? So I think that there's going to be some winners and losers, if you will, in the channel. And I think 2020 is going to be an interesting year as we look at, the technology is out there. And to Meagan's point, IoT and 5G and all that kind of stuff is going to become more pervasive. But I think the challenge for the channel is, how do we address that? How do we react to it? And I think that those that are more free thinking and willing to realize that maybe what worked in the past won't work as we look forward are the ones that are going to really be able to capitalize the opportunity that we see out there.
Well, thank you both so much for being here and sharing your passion and knowledge about financing and monthly payments. And we look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
Great being with you.
If you like this episode or have a question, join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram Tech Soul with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, hosted by Keri Roberts and sponsored by D-Link Technology. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast platform.